welcome to this workforce breakfast. My name is Rick Dickinson. I have the pleasure of serving as the president of Greater Dubuque Development Corporation. And on behalf of our staff, our board of directors, and our investors, we'd like to thank you for taking time from your very busy business and holiday schedule to be joining us this morning. I'd like to make just a few introductions, if I may. First of all, I'd like to introduce and hold our applause till the end, if you would, by each of these categories. So I'm going to introduce some folks from the city government, some folks from U.S. government, state government, and then some teams. So first of all, the city of Dubuque, I'd like to thank Mayor Roy Buell for joining us this morning, City Manager Mike Van Milligan, Council Member David Resnick, Council Member Danny Spring, incoming Council Member Laura Russell, Corey Burbach, Assistant City Manager, Joe Connors, Economic Development Director, Ian Hatch, a new addition to the Economic Development Office, the Assistant Economic Development Director. And then from the airport, Todd and Karen, thank you for joining us, and thank you for the city service to the city. Let's give them a hand. And if anyone steps in or if I've missed someone, please let us know, and we'll correct that at the end of our breakfast. From U.S. government, we'd like to take first of all, thank these folks for their service to our country and to their constituents here in Iowa. Brittany Carroll from U.S. Senator Joni Ernst's office, and Rochelle Fuller from U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley's office. Let's thank them. And for the Iowa legislature, our very own Senator Pam Yoakum, Representative Chuck Eisenhardt. Let's thank them for their service. We also have tremendous partners. I don't know of another circumstance or community that has this kind of collaboration between the local newspaper and the economic development entity within the community, but we fortunately have it here to Dubuque. The very fact that we're able to share this breakfast and share exciting news about what this community does is thanks to that partnership. And I'd like to thank them. Tom Woodward, CEO of Woodward Communications, Bob Woodward, the new publisher, congratulations, Bob. Mike Portman, Matt Connolly, Cindy Olson, Patricia Dietz, who we'll be hearing a little bit from. No folks, without this commitment from Woodward Communications and the TAs, this would not be possible. Let's welcome them and thank you. And then the tremendous team I have the pleasure of working with the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation. Most are here, some are mining the port. We'll go through and remind you of who these folks are. Of course, you'll be hearing more from Kristen Diesel, our Vice President of Workforce Solutions, and Anna Rowling, who work closely on these issues. Dan McDonald and his team doing business retention and expansion, Bill Baum and Rob Apple. Emily Graves, our Director of Communications, puts a face in everything we do. Ed Raber, Director of Dubuque's True North. Jane Urbalino, who is that voice you get when you call Greater Dubuque Development Corporation. Karen Kleesner, Vice President of Operations, that truly runs the show. And Renee Meyer and Chris Apple and Nelson Levitter, who provide tours for us to newcomers to our community. And I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, if they'll correct me later, but let's congratulate this tremendous, the best economic development team. And also a tremendous partner as it relates to higher ed and the development of the workforce that's critical to what we're here about today. And that is Northeast Iowa Community College, where they are working to provide gift of education and skill attainment for gainful employment. And I'd like to thank Dr. Wee, who is here, and Wendy Montero, and Wendy Knight, and the rest of the NICC team for the tremendous unique partnership we have. Let's go. And I don't know if we have the other presidents with us, but I know Clark University of Dubuque, Loras College. What a unique treasure it is benefits and separates us from that. So we're here today to talk about workforce. You're going to hear some exciting news about all the efforts that are being made. You know, in other communities where there's high unemployment, the solution seems to be to wail, moan, and gnash your teeth and whine about not having the workforce you need. That's not what goes on in the community. The information you're going to receive today is unique to this community. Sometimes we take things for granted because they become so familiar to us, but in fact these tools are unique. We need to continue to build on it, we need to improve them, and we need to utilize them. So we'll talk about, a little more about that as we go, but it's my pleasure now to introduce the presenter of these programs to you, our Vice President of Workforce Solutions. She's going to be talking to you about several programs, and we'll have a little Q&A after. Again, welcome, happy holidays. It's my pleasure to introduce Kristen Diesel.
Good morning. Thank you for being here today. Your attendance really shows your commitment and engagement with workforce in our community, and we appreciate that. It's hard to believe we're closing out another decade in just a few weeks. A decade that started with just 55,000 workers in Dubuque County, coming out of a significant recession, to the record 61,800 workers employed in our MSA today. A decade that began with 7.2% unemployment and will end below 2%, the 12th lowest in the nation last month. What is certain in the decade ahead is the workforce landscape will continue to change. Just this week, recruitment firm Glassdoor released a survey stating that recruiting in 2020 will be shaped by the beginning of a culture-first decade. Prioritization of diversity and inclusion, and adjustments for a workforce where workers aged 65 plus are one of the fastest growing segments. Other 2020 predictions stress a different kind of focus on applicant attraction, one that requires proactively searching and reaching out to candidates and strategically marketing your brand as a workplace of choice. As we begin a new decade, which like the last is sure to see changes that we can't yet imagine, we want you to leave here today knowing that Greater Dubuque Development and our workforce partners are paying attention and actively developing services and solutions that evolve as our workforce evolves, that are responsive to data and employer needs, and that will help you work smarter and more effectively in today's market, maximizing the latest in technology without losing the significance of a personal relationship. Today's 2019 Skills Gap release marks 5 years since we first released the report in 2014 to provide economic developers, workforce developers, and educators with information on projected workforce shortages and to identify strategies to mitigate these shortages. You have a couple of the reports at your table today, but they are available as of now for download on our website, so that's something you can access digitally and share later as well. I'd like to thank Dr. Weed, Wendy Knight, and our partners at Northeast Iowa Community College, who put many hours into making sure that this report is as accurate and up to date as possible. For the last 5 years, we've partnered with NACC on this report, and it's a partnership that we really value and makes a difference in the information we have to share today. Rather than focus just on the point of time data that's in that report, I'm going to take a look back in this presentation today at the last 5 years and look at what has changed, how far we've come in some ways, and how some things in many ways are still the same. While most of the data in the report focuses on the 7-county region that you see on the map, that's what we call the Greater Dubuque area, we also include some information specifically for the Dubuque MSA, which is Dubuque County, since it is the workforce and population hub of the region. As you can see from this slide and the previous one, our economy has continued to steadily add jobs despite a shrinking working age population and low unemployment rates. Our institutions of higher education continue to be a bright spot in our economy, providing opportunities for education at multiple levels and for every industry, from certificate training to graduate programs, from classes for English language learners and those without a high school diploma, to specialized engineering, medical, and business programs for working adults. McKinsey estimates that by 2020, the world will face a shortage of more than 40 million college workers. It's a shortage that is going to exacerbate every other type of scarcity problem we have in the workplace, which leads me to believe we are only as strong in this community as our colleges, and we are very grateful to have the amount of college talent and the strong institutions we do have in our community. Over the past 5 years, you can see the number of degree graduates in our region has increased by 10%. Unfortunately, that hasn't translated yet to a more educated Greater Dubuque area. The census doesn't track educational attainment until age 25, so there's a little lag in local graduation rates leading to population level change. However, if we look back a decade, the number of individuals with an associate's degree or higher increased 11% in the region and 20% in Dubuque County alone. Impressively, the rate of increase in degree holders was 58% for Black African American residents and 17% for Hispanic residents of the region. Increases in educational attainment are critical for achievement of well-paying jobs and family self-sufficiency, which will be nearly impossible to achieve with a high school diploma alone. Financially, families and workers are earning more, both on a household and per capita basis. However, the number of households who cannot make a survival budget has increased to approximately a third of Dubuque MSA households. This points to a decline in real wages for many workers, where increases in pay are not outpacing the rise of expenses in housing, childcare, and other costs. Despite wage increases in the Dubuque MSA, when we compare ourselves with 7 other regional metros, Dubuque has remained 6 of 8 for median wage, 6.5% below national median wage, and 3% below Iowa's median wage. Today we have roughly 51,000 more working age people, aged 15 to 69, in the region than jobs, 2,000 fewer than we had in last year's report. That surplus is necessary because, of course, not all working age people are employed, able to work, or choosing to be employed. However, our regional labor force participation rate in Dubuque, in the Greater Dubuque area, is very high, with approximately 82% of these individuals in the workforce, currently one of the highest rates in the country, making our real surplus more like 21,000, as indicated by the green line. If this trend continues, our surplus will shrink to just 4,000 workers in the next decade. So which skills are most needed in our economy 5 years ago and today? Based on the number of jobs held in 2014 and again in 2019, the top 15 have barely changed. It shouldn't come as a surprise that these jobs are needed by our most populous industries: advanced manufacturing, healthcare, education, finance, and insurance. These lists also focus only on skilled positions that pay $16 an hour or more median wage, and it excludes supervisory and management positions, which typically require experience that can't be trained by our colleges alone. You'll see this list also includes occupations that are often difficult to excite younger kids or high school graduates about: construction, truck driving, customer service, production, and maintenance and repair work. So how do these needs align with top completions at our regional colleges? The list before you includes degree completions only, which leaves out certificates of training in the trades. Certificates in vocational training are not yet counted by IPEDS, which is the national data source for college completion. You can see it matches up fairly well in some cases. like mechanical engineering and manufacturing technologies rising, and consistency in graduates in business and nursing. However, the number of elementary teachers graduating has declined despite increased demand. While programs such as liberal arts, business, and psychology could translate to fill customer service, finance and insurance, and sales jobs, it will require ongoing education between students and employers regarding these crossover skills, career opportunities, and industry information for students to make that leap. We also continue to see a high demand for skilled trades, representing an opportunity for some of the 30% of high school graduates who don't immediately pursue education after high school, or returning adults who have not completed or yet started post-secondary training. Based on the overall openings in our region for all occupations, despite the wage level or experience level, we can expect to see about 14,400 openings per year in the region. Nearly half of these will be in low-pay occupations of less than $15 an hour median wage, which includes service industry and retail jobs, but also includes skilled positions like nurse aides, teacher assistants, production workers, child care workers, and preschool teachers. We use $15 an hour as our benchmark because state and local United Way data suggest that a household survival budget for 2 adults with 2 kids requires about 2 $15 an hour jobs in the household or a combined $30 an hour wage in Dubuque County. The survival budget, of course, is less for a single adult or a one-child family, but more for a single parent or a family with more kids. About 40% of openings will fall in the $15 to $27 an hour wage. These tend to be skilled positions that often require some post-secondary training or a college degree. 2 earners in a household at this level are likely to be above a survival budget, but not quite to a stable family budget, which includes savings for the future and retirement. Finally, a little over 10% of openings will pay over $27 an hour median wage, which would help a family of 4 reach a stability budget. Takeaways. So what can we discern from the report today? 1, low-skilled workers will struggle within our community, even while working, especially if they have children or are a one-earner household, and even if a job is in demand or considered skilled. These will continue to be difficult positions for our companies to recruit for. 2, we need to double down on the recruitment of skilled professionals from out of area for attractive career opportunities. Although there's always a risk they won't stay, we can't afford not to try. Greater Dubuque can assist with information related to wage differentials, newcomer services, and recruitment prospecting. A recent report by city researcher Aaron Wren indicates that for Midwestern cities with the amenities and jobs available for success, if they are to reach the next level of economic performance, they need to attract migrants, international and domestic, from outside their home regions and home states. 3, we need to continue focusing on the talent engaged at our college institutions, both retaining college students through direct outreach, career events, and community engagement, and connecting with them to come back through our NZ Profile Analytics tool and our Big Life Small City campaign. In a recent survey conducted of local college students, only 27% indicate they are likely to accept employment in the Greater Dubuque area. However, the vast majority of students indicated they were unsure about their post-secondary plans, and 68% of those who were unsure said a job offer would likely persuade them to stay. We need to make sure we're getting those job offers in the hands of our college graduates. 4, employers need to ensure they have a strategy to prepare for demographic changes. An increased number of 60-plus workforce who wants to continue working. The coming decline of high school graduates and thus college student population, and increasing racial and ethnic diversity in our communities. Companies who adopt the culture-first attitude and ensure their workplace is inclusive and welcoming to diverse populations will be better positioned to compete for talent. A report outlining how Midwestern cities can grow suggests, while we can't change the weather, they can focus on what is actionable. The first step is to create a welcoming environment for outsiders. If outsiders cannot get access to professional and social networks in a new city or are viewed as second-class citizens, it's unlikely that city will become a choice destination for talent. 5. We have 64,000 individuals who are high school diploma holders as their highest level of educational attainment. We have programs that exist, like Opportunity Dubuque, Future Ready Iowa Scholarships, adult degree opportunities at four-year institutions, and tuition reimbursement programs at your places of employment that can affordably help these students earn a skill, a degree, and an in-demand job at a higher wage. I do not think we are fully reaching this audience, nor that everyone who could benefit is aware of how to navigate education as a non-traditional adult. Finally, we cannot let up on partnerships with our K-12 institutions to prepare their teachers, families, and students with local economic opportunities, needs, and wage information through career awareness events and other work-based learning initiatives. Feeling overwhelmed? Thankfully, the Greater Dubuque Development and our partners have a menu of tools available to help you develop and deliver your strategy for the workforce of 2020 and beyond. I'm going to focus on just 4 of these today: Access Dubuque Jobs, Talent Dubuque, Opportunity Dubuque, and our Big Life Small City campaign. However, if you aren't familiar with our NC data tools, college outreach tools, Dubuque Works partnerships, or newcomer services, please make a note on your feedback sheet to meet with us on these. More than a job board, Access Dubuque Jobs is the foundation of the workforce solutions we provide in our community. From events like the recent AccessDubuqueJobs.com career fair, to the Talent Dubuque internship program, to digital promotion on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google, Access Dubuque Jobs is our #1 way of promoting your brand, your company culture, and your opportunities for college students and job seekers. It is the featured job board on our Big Life Small City website, which is marketed outside of Dubuque for potential candidates. This year, we made many of our events and services free and exclusive for AccessDubuqueJobs.com investors. The reason is simple: if we can't find your job opportunities on the board, we can't direct students and job seekers to your company and your opportunities. In 2020, we plan to enhance ease of use of the service for both investors and job seekers, and we are currently surveying both groups for feedback. I wanted to share one testimonial today on how Access Dubuque Jobs is making a difference in our community, for our employers, and for our students. A student at Clark University who attended the Access Dubuque Jobs Career Fair in October shared the following. The career fair was one of the best experiences I had in professional development at Clark. It allowed for me to connect with local employers here in Dubuque to gain a better sense of what not only they are looking for, but what I am looking for after graduation. After the career fair, I was able to follow up with 8 different companies, which led to 3 different interviews and 3 different job offers. I am very grateful for this opportunity and would recommend it for anyone looking for an internship or a possible career. This is a student who did accept a job offer here in Dubuque and will be staying as part of our community. If you aren't an investor and want to know more about what that means, talk to us after about becoming one and joining in on this and all these other solutions we're discussing today. Another Access Dubuque Jobs program we launched in 2019 was Talent Dubuque, an intern engagement program. We launched this in partnership with Northeast Iowa Community College and the Dubuque Chamber of Commerce. The reasons for this program are many. 1, to engage interns in the larger community so they can see themselves living and working here beyond their summer internship. 2, connect interns with a diverse group of young professionals. And 3, to provide points of contact in the community for interns to connect with their hobbies, interests, and careers beyond their internship employer. The program consisted of community leader panels, monthly professional development and networking sessions, and attendance at the Chamber of Commerce's YP luncheon. Based on survey feedback, 92% of the interns agreed or strongly agreed that they were welcomed during their time in Dubuque. 62% indicated they would stay or move back here in the future, and 88% believe the community does offer the quality of life they're looking for in a community. Registration for interns comes through their employers, so watch for program dates for next summer and sign up information this spring. Opportunity Dubuque is one of the unique programs in our community that is really looking to target those abundance of low-skilled workers, provide them with enough skill and soft skills to enter the workforce as an entry-level employee in a high-demand skilled position. This is a partnership with Northeast Iowa Community College, who runs the training program with support through the Dubuque Works Partnership and other partners. Opportunity Dubuque launched in 2012 in response to employers telling us we needed more CNC and welders in our community. It has since grown to include certificates in a variety of industries, including healthcare, IT, construction, childcare, customer service, and transportation. As of July, more than 600 graduates, that's about 1% of our workforce, has participated in this program. Excuse me. Moving from an unskilled worker to a sought-after skilled employee. As a group, these graduates have a 95% job placement or continuing education rate after graduation. It's also a diverse student population. 23% of overall graduates are Black or African American, and nearly half of the most recent year's graduates were students of color. This program is assisting to close the gap for skilled workers and close the unemployment rate gap for residents of color, one changed life at a time. However, when we looked at the data, we recognized one group that had been left out of the success: women with children. The number one barrier the program's coaches reported for this group was childcare. Therefore, in 2019, in partnership with the City of Dubuque, Dubuque County, the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque, the YMCA, and Steeple Square, we launched a childcare pilot with one primary and one secondary goal. The first, eliminate childcare as a barrier to workforce by allowing single parents and other parents to participate in the Opportunity Dubuque childcare and the Opportunity Dubuque training program by providing free childcare during their training. The second goal was also to train a more highly skilled childcare workforce by developing a childcare program within the Opportunity Dubuque offerings to meet significant workforce shortages in that industry, which exacerbates available slots open in the community. While the program has started off slowly, as we build trust and spread the word in the communities which can benefit the most, for the lives who have been impacted by it, it made the difference between a certificate of training and a living wage job, or sitting out of the workforce, or working multiple low-wage jobs. The program was recently recognized by the state's Future Ready Iowa program with a $50,000 grant to supplement the work. At this time, the help we need is to get the word out to the community who can benefit from Opportunity Dubuque, free training, and free childcare. If you know someone who could benefit, or you're involved in an organization that needs to know this information, please see us and we'll get you connected with one of the program's coaches and get flyers to you so you can share this information. Last but certainly not least, I want to provide an update on our Big Life, Small City, Your Home in Dubuque recruitment campaign. At our spring breakfast, we just launched this community marketing effort. We shared the first video, our employer implementation guide, and our new website. We asked you to join us in sharing this brand outside of Dubuque and integrating the campaign into your recruitment processes. And we unveiled the NZ Profile Analytics tool, which we are the first in Iowa to pilot to help build your recruiting prospect list based on the most available information at our fingertips. Since our April 15th launch, our campaign has performed impressively. Through Forge Social, we have reached over 2,000 followers on Facebook, more than 250 on LinkedIn, and our sponsored and organic posts have earned nearly 500,000 impressions on social media. Hopefully the image on the screen looks very familiar to you by now. In partnership with Happy Smith Productions and Forge Social, we have launched 9 unique newcomer videos viewed on social media and YouTube, and from the website over 7,400 times. The BigLifeSmallCity.com landing page to learn more about the community and assist relocating newcomers has been visited over 7,500 times, with visits reaching well beyond the Greater Dubuque area. Our NZ Profile Analytics tool has been utilized by 28 companies to build prospect lists for the talent they need from outside the Greater Dubuque area. If you haven't tried this tool out yet, it is free with your Access Dubuque Jobs investment, and in 30 minutes or less, we can help you develop a prospect list, gather information on wage differentials, and discuss ways to share the Big Life Small City campaign resources. We built the Big Life Small City campaign and designed it for community use. We produced an employer guide to help companies integrate the campaign into their marketing strategy, and created other resources available for digital and hard copy use. We've also partnered with our local colleges to share this information with their alumni networks. Companies are now able to set up NZ sessions with Anna or I on demand. But we can only expand our reach with help from all of you. Many of you have engaged with the campaign, and we hope you found it useful. But many of your companies are not yet followers of the campaign, sharing the campaign, or integrating the videos or webpage links into your recruitment resources. If you haven't used it yet, we would like feedback to improve the campaign or provide additional resources that might be missing. We have invited marketing professionals from our investors to join today's meetings as well, to help us consider how to better extend the Big Life Small City campaign and its reach. I'd now like to invite one of our partners and a woman that I greatly admire in the HR field, Patricia Dietz from Woodward Community Media, to share how her team has successfully utilized some of the tools you've heard about today. Thank you.
Nobody's taller than I am. Good morning. Thank you. So, surprise to my HR team, I didn't tell anybody about this morning, and then also my name was up on the agenda, so cat's out of the bag. So when I was asked to share a testimonial this morning, my first response was a bit hesitant. Hesitant only because I was wondering what shade of red I might become while speaking in front of this large group. As I look around, I probably know most of you anyway, so. I was definitely not hesitant about providing a testimonial to the value of events and services provided by Greater Dubuque Development Corporation. The GDDC is a significant partner in our efforts to recruit and retain employee owners at Woodward and TH Media, and a couple of our nearby locations in Platteville and Dyersville as well. So a few key events that Woodward TH Media has benefited from just this year, which Sue was just highlighting. First was the Greater Dubuque Summer Career Visit in May. So local employers had the chance to introduce their organization and career opportunities to about 40 Career Center representatives from nearby colleges and universities. We have found that strong relationships with the school's Career Center representatives is really key in targeting students who are seeking the types of career paths that we have to offer. Talent Dubuque, a summer intern engagement program. This was a wonderful extension of our own onboarding and training for our summer interns. Students attended professional development seminars, were introduced to our local culture, and they made connections with other interns who are also away from their families and communities for a few months over the summer. This experience may result in a desire to return to Dubuque, and when I saw those numbers up there, that does verify my thought, but a desire to return to Dubuque on a more permanent basis upon graduation. Then there was the college job and internship fair in October. Not only did we support and participate in the student activities there, we met a terrific group of students anxious to start their careers and possibly with Woodward or TH Media. And I cannot say enough about the Newcomer Services Program. We have included the personal tours as part of our interview process for candidates coming in from outside our area. We share the Access to Dubuque Jobs website with candidates who also may have spouses or family members seeking employment in the tri-state area. So when I'm talking to candidates, I always ask about their family. Who else is coming? Might they be seeking positions as well? And then the most unique experience is the Distinctively Dubuque dinners and classes, a program I was able to experience myself this year with other HR professionals. Just saw Matt again this morning, and he had a great experience, as did I. Even though we're from this area, we learned a tremendous amount of information about the area that we really weren't familiar with. So that was really a great way to transition for people from being a stranger among strangers to a friend among new friends over turkey and dressing sandwiches and a game for which I still can't play. So overall, I would say the Big Life Small City Dubuque campaign is making great strides to drive potential new hires to our area and the Access Dubuque Jobs website. So if you're not taking advantage of these programs and services and many others, please don't leave today before learning more from anyone on this GDVC team. We so enjoyed working with them and partnering with them, and it's been a great experience. Will continue to be a great experience for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. To close, last month, Envy, our data partner, released a talent attraction scorecard, which ranked communities across the country on how well they attract and grow talent. While the Sun Belt and the Mountain States performed better than the Midwest, as part of this scorecard, they offered a roadmap of the basic principles that successful communities are using across the country to grow. They stressed that there isn't a magic bullet or a magic fix, but together, these strategies should serve as the backbone of a successful community workforce model. I think as I go through these, you're going to hear some common themes from tools that we've talked about today. 1, add to your talent base in the short term while building long-term efforts with school districts and colleges. Check. 2, get creative in your search. Look for talent pools among some or all of the following: high school and college alumni who have left your region, or people with relatives living in your community. That is the goal of the Big Life Small City campaign. But also underemployed workers, veterans transitioning to civilian life, seniors, stay-at-home parents, and remote workers who could have a physical presence in your community. Also think in terms of skills. Skills is a language that cuts across educational credentials, majors, and job descriptions. A recent NC analysis of nearly 1 million profiles found often students from degrees as dissimilar as philosophy and business are filling the same roles within companies and exhibiting many of the same skills. Watch for more of this coming to Access Dubuque Jobs in 2020. Drive people to a website that focuses on your selling points, including a job board or employer portal. Think Big Life Small City and Access Dubuque Jobs. Develop talking points that resonate with your target audience. Mid-level workers care about affordability, schools, quality of life, and continuing education opportunities. College grads care about all that, plus amenities, diversity, downtowns, and arts and culture. This applies to the story of our city too. We must tell a story that doesn't require a historical connection or knowing someone in town for candidates to imagine themselves being a part of it. We need to use metrics that matter, like adjusted cost of living compared to peer regions and other communities, to show that candidates can sometimes earn more here, even if their salary doesn't immediately reflect that. We can help you tell these stories through our college survey data, our newcomer survey data, MZ wage information, Big Life Small City materials, and more. 5, develop micro-credentials outside of traditional education that match to urgent employer needs. That is the goal and mission of the Opportunity Dubuque program. 6, help students think about careers in the context of your area by building and promoting internship opportunities. You can help connect with college students by attending one of our many Access Dubuque Jobs college events, downloading our free Employer College Connection Guide, and posting your internships with us to start. If you need help building an internship program, we have resources for that as well. 7, build a long-term strategy by bringing career counseling to high school and keeping non-traditional and low-income students in the education pipeline. The Community Foundation's Dubuque College Access Network Initiative is designed to do just this, as is the work currently being done by the Dubuque School District around work-based learning in partnership with NICC, Dubuque Area Labor Management, and our team at Greater Dubuque. Finally, keep identifying the strengths and weaknesses of your community and prioritizing urgent needs: housing, poverty, amenities, childcare. Those things that make a difference between a job acceptance and sometimes a decline. We have this model in place. The question is how engaged we become in it as a community to make it better, to ensure that we are attracting and retaining the talent we need for the next decade. So what can you do first? 1, subscribe to our bi-weekly Finders of Keepers Workforce News to stay connected to events and information like that was shared today. 2, complete the feedback sheet at your seat. Help challenge us to make our tools better, stronger, and more useful for you and your company. Finally, you can access the Skills Gap, Big Life Small City campaign, and other resources and data on our website at greaterdubuque.org/workforce-solutions. Thank you for your time this morning. I wish you all good luck in your work as we enter the next decade before us, and I wish you all a happy holiday season in the short term. I'm going to turn it back over to Rick to close. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. There are a couple of organizations nationally that recognize best in the industry for every industry, but for economic development, it's the Mid-American Economic Development Council, and it's the International Economic Development Council, which as it applies is international. I want everyone in this room to know that Monday we'll be going out there and they're recognizing Kristen Dietzel and the programs that you've just heard about as the best in the Midwest, from Ohio to Wyoming. And they're also recognizing Emily Graves for their communication skills that really set the Greater Dubuque area apart from the rest of the country and provides models for others to emulate. So make sure you use the tools that eventually other people will adopt because they in fact work. And that same kind of recognition has come to Dan McDonald and his team on business retention and expansion, a unique program. So recognize the folks that are working so hard for you. And having just concluded the Thanksgiving holiday and looking forward to more holidays in December, we should always remember that we always recognize our host, especially when they're most excellent. So let's recognize Wendy Rundy and the crew at Diamond Joe for this great job. And thanks thanks to you, a record number of folks, over 200 people have attended this breakfast. So, this isn't the end, this is the beginning. You are now the ambassadors for all that Kristen has shared with you. Yes, you need to embrace them, and we know that you do and you will, right? But more importantly, you talk to the people, your coworkers, your managers, your HR staff, your peers in the community, to also use these tools, because collectively, that's what makes it happen. And I did notice, as I sat down, we do have a newcomer to our community, and president of the Clark University, Tom Chesney. Tom, thanks for joining us, and welcome to Dubuque. I do have some other comments to make, but before we do that, I'd like to open up to any questions you might have of Kristen or anyone for our staff. We do have a mic here we'll pass around. Any follow-up questions? Please raise your hand if you do. We'll close in by saying this. People talk about Midwest nice. That means that as a community, we welcome newcomers, and we'll give them directions to wherever they want to go in our community, except our home. We think we're unique, we think that we're welcoming, but are we doing all we can to make sure that this is a community of choice, that when you come here, we want to include you? Let's think about that as we enter this holiday season. Have we invited people to share ourselves and that which we hold most dear? Because that truly is the test of whether we're welcoming. So, regardless of whether you worship in a mosque or a synagogue or a parish, regardless of whether you celebrate in these coming days, Bohai Day, Hanukkah, or Christmas, on behalf of our staff, on behalf of our board of directors and our investors, we wish you the happiest of holidays. We thank you for taking time from your schedule to be here, and we ask you to be the champions to utilize these services so that once again, the Greater Dubuque area is a model for the rest of our nation. Thank you, and God bless.